They called this island Ayiti, land of high mountains. Long before Columbus, long before maps drew borders, it was home to thriving Arawak-speaking peoples we now call the Taino. Cities of thatch and stone, fields of cassava, carved canoes slicing turquoise water. A world with its own science, spirituality, and statecraft. And then 1492, a date that splits history in two. What happened next has been called a miracle by some and a genocide by others. On the island the world would later call Hispaniola, Taino society was organized into 5 major chiefdoms led by caciques. They farmed, fished, traded, and held ceremonial life in sacred plazas. Names mattered here. Ayiti, Haiti for the whole mountainous island, Quisqueya for mother of all lands. This was not an empty new world, it was a lived-in world. Population estimates vary widely. Some Spanish chroniclers later claimed millions. Many modern scholars suggest hundreds of thousands to around 1 million on Hispaniola. What everyone agrees on, it was dense, organized, and flourishing, right up until contact. Columbus arrives in 1492. By 1493, Spanish settlements follow. At first, gifts, curiosity, fragile alliances, then the tribute demands begin. Gold dust, food, labor. Refusal meant lashes, mutilation, death. The encomienda system, forced labor masquerading as protection, is formalized by royal decree in 1503, binding indigenous communities to Spanish masters. The Taino had survived hurricanes. They could not survive a hurricane of conquest. This is the part textbooks rush past. In the span of a few decades, the Taino population collapsed, from vast thriving communities to scattered survivors. Why? Violence, forced labor, famine, and disease together, not separately. Some chroniclers wrote that 80–90% of the population was gone within about 30 years. Others argue the starting numbers were smaller, but even the most conservative counts describe a catastrophe. The point is not debating a body count. The point is that the system was lethal, and it left deep scars in Ayiti that echo to this day. It raised the myth of passivity. The Taino resisted, refusing food levies, fleeing to the hills, launching revolts. Leaders like Enriquillo fought guerrilla campaigns in the 1520s and won terms from the crown. Resistance carved cracks in empire, but the combined pressure of disease and the labor regime broke communities faster than they could rebuild. Into these fractures, colonizers imported enslaved Africans, forcing them alongside surviving Taino in mines, fields, and workshops, laying the foundations of a new, brutal society that would later explode into the Haitian Revolution. You've heard it, the Taino went extinct. That's the story empire tells to close the book. The reality is messier and more human. Survivors intermarried, hid traditions in plain sight, and passed memory through song, prayer, and household ritual. What some call survival through paper genocide, erasing a people on paper even as they continue to live. Today, Taino descendants across the Caribbean and Diaspora are reclaiming language, crafts, and identity. Extinction was a colonial wish, not an indigenous fate. When Haiti won independence in 1804, the new nation chose an old word, Ayiti, to honor the first peoples, to say, we remember. Names carry worlds. They tell us who we are and who we refuse to be. In that choice was a promise that on this ground, the enslaved, the conquered, the silenced would write their names in thunder. Why this story matters? For Black Americans and the global Black community, Ayiti is more than geography. It's a mirror. We know what it means to have our histories minimized, our ancestors mislabeled, our survival called extinction. The Taino story exposes how colonial systems grind human beings into labor and statistics, and how communities fight to stay whole. It also reveals how Africa and the Americas braided together. Taino and African peoples resisting side by side, building maroon networks, blending faith and foodways that still live in Haiti's culture. This isn't just a tragedy, it's a testimony. The Arawak of Ayiti were nearly erased, but not forgotten. If you carry hate in your heart or justice in your bones, share this story. Say the name, Ayiti, and remember the people who said it first.